to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to another episode of A Well-Designed Business. Today is episode 400. My goodness, can you believe it? 400 episodes. Think about that. 400 episodes. I'd like to tell you that I never thought this day would come, but that's not true. I really knew it would. And you know why? Because I planned for it to come. Right? You've heard me mention it a few times on the show that I had a business plan for this podcast. I wouldn't have got to pass the Vin Man if I didn't have a business plan for the podcast. Let's be serious, right? But there is a certain amount of, oh my goodness, that it actually happened. Okay, so because we do make our plans, we do set up a business plan, we do have our goals, we make our 1-year goal, our 3-year goal, our 5-year goals, our 10-year goals. But, you know, some come true, some don't, right? And so the thing is, they're much more likely to come true if you do have a solid business plan and you do have solid accountability markers and systems that you employ in order to get there. But still exciting when you do, right? It's still like, I did it. So this one we did. This one we did together. You and I, 400 episodes and 3 years. The podcast is turning 3. And today, if you're listening to this show in real time, February 5th, 2019 is the birthday party at Kravit. That's right. We're having a birthday party tonight, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at their showroom at the D&D building in New York City. So please, I hope that you've RSVP'd. I hope that you're coming because it is such a fun night. And it's just so nice to be together and to laugh and talk about the different episodes and talk about the amazing stories that some of the guests have shared. And of course, so many of the guests that have been on the show come to the birthday party. So that's so exciting. It's exciting for me to meet them in real life. It's exciting for you as a listener to meet them. So I hope that you're planning to join us. Okay. Now, I started to think about it. All right. Now, you know, I've got my second book coming out, The Things I Learned from a Well-Designed Business, the Power Talk Friday Experts. So this book is quite literally 12 co-authors. I've invited 12 of the Power Talk Friday experts to be with me in this book and to each have a chapter. Okay. The authors that are joining me for this book include Nancy Ganskaufer, Sarah Daniele, Claire Jefford, Fred Burns, Stacey Brown Randall, Kay Whitaker, Shauna Lynn Simon, Mark McDonough, Eileen Hahn, Nicole Heimer, Peter Lang, and Michelle Williams. I mean, a rock star lineup, right? Be serious, okay? Think about the superpowers. Think about the brain powers of these 12 people, each of them with a different expertise that they know so well and that they teach, okay? So where the first book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, is Business 101, okay? If you've read that book, you know it's very straightforward. I have an idea for my business. What do I do? How do I go about it? Okay. So if you are an experienced business owner and you've got your systems down, you're making good money, you've got a staff, you've got employees. Okay. So if you read this book, maybe you get an idea. right? I have to believe that you'd at least get one idea because I'm in business more than 30 years and I get an idea almost every single week talking to people on the podcast. So I've talked with interior designers, you've heard them, that have been in business 6 and 7 months. Darla Powell was first on the show when she was only in business 7 months, and I learned things from her. So while the first book is your roadmap from hello, I want a business to I've opened it, I know that there is a line, a moment, an idea that could spark something for you. But the idea of it, in essence, is Business 101. How do we do this? How do we create a foundation as something that we can build a business on, something that you can set up and know that you have got all of the bases covered, and now you just have to keep going day after day, chasing that dream, okay? The second book now is the things I learned from a well-designed business, the Power Talk Friday experts. These 12 people, I've invited each of them to write a chapter in this book on their superpower. Okay. And then, of course, I do what I always do on the show. I give you my little bit of twist on it. What did I think what they said? How do I think you could apply it? Maybe share an idea that I've experienced in my own business that relates or substantiates what they've said. Okay. So that's how this book runs. And the thing is that today, on the 400th episode and the 3rd year birthday party of the podcast, the book cover is revealed. I hope that you are following me on Instagram at LuAnn Nigara, okay? On Facebook, it's at A Well-Designed Business, okay? Because today we are putting up that gorgeous cover, okay? And when I say gorgeous, what I don't mean me, you know, like whatever. I'm talking about the design of this cover. I'm talking about wait till you see this green, podcast green velvet chair from article.com that they sent me so that we could make this amazing cover with it. And so here are my huge thanks to, first of all, Irina Leone. Irina Leone has done every headshot of mine that you've seen, every version, every, which way. And don't worry, there's new ones coming. I know it's like 2.5, 3 years of the same shots. I mean, we're all sick of looking at them, right? So we just did a whole nother round. All right. They'll be coming out over the next couple of weeks, but she took this cover photo. And then, of course, I have to thank Kimberly at Window Works, my Kimberly, my daughter, Christy Rocha, and of course, Nicole Heimer. These are my women that help me with my brand message, that they're the ones that if I have a crazy idea and I say, what do you think about this? They'll either look at me and go, what? Or like when I had the idea for the book cover to be this way. See, I run it by Kim first. When I run an idea like this book cover against her, she turned around and looked at me and she goes, I love it. You see, now I know I just did a slam dunk. Okay. And then I say to Nicole, what do you think of this idea for a book cover? Oh, that sounds amazing. Oh, okay. I'm 2 for 2. And then I go to Christy and I say to my daughter, Christy, what do you think of this idea for a book cover? And she's like, yeah, I like it. Now I'm 3 for 3. Okay. So I love that I value and trust them because, believe me, there's things that I say to them. They're like, no. That's weird. Like, why would you want to do that? So they are my barometer for taste and style and messaging and branding, and I am so grateful to them. So please check out the book cover today. Let us know what you think about it. Definitely give article.com a high five on that gorgeous chair that's in that cover, and I'd love to know what you think about it. Now, if you want to know when this amazing book is going to be ready for order on Amazon, then all you have to do is get on the list, and you can get on the list by going to LuAnn Nigara.com /book 2. Okay. So book 2, LuAnnNigara.com /book 2. Okay. And then we will let you know when it's ready for order, okay? This book is also going to be launched at LuAnn Nigara Live. It's about the conversation, okay? Because it wasn't enough for me to gather these 12 amazing business people in one book. I said, I got to gather them in one room. Think about the energy. I'm like jumping out of my skin, planning this event, anticipating this event, coordinating the ideas of this event. It's really going to be electric. That is what it's going to be. It is going to be electric. We have over 100 interior designers signed up already to be at this event with us March 30th, 31st, and April 1st in Short Hills, New Jersey. Okay? This is 2019. So if you want to have your world rocked, if you want to come away with some content and ideas and takeaways and to-do lists and some action plans to get your business on track, then you need to get your booty to New Jersey this March. That's what I'm telling you. Think about it. These are 12 rockstar business experts. Any single one of these is charging anywhere from $350 to $500 and $600 per 1 hour of their coaching. You get to be with all 12 of them, plus me, plus my husband Vince, because you know he's like a total rock star too, for 2 full days. 2 full days. Right now, the ticket price is $495 if you're listening on February 5th, 2019. Starting February 6th, 2019, it's $595. Okay, so the value is undeniable, plain English, seriously. Okay, we have all kinds of things planned. The number one and most critical thing that you need to visualize and understand about these days, this weekend together, is that in one room, you're all going to be with us, and there are going to be over 2 days, 12 live presentations with each of these speakers, with me on the stage with them 12 times. Doing what I do, which is ask what, how, what do you mean by that? What is exactly, how am I supposed to do that, right? That's exactly what I'm going to do. So here's what we have. We're going to have one of the co-authors. I've invited 13 rock star interior designers that have been on this podcast to sit on these panels. So Corey Klassen and Judith Neary, they're like a duo, so they're going to be on the same panel. Okay, so that's why there's 12 co-authors and 13 designers. But imagine, this is the way I imagine it. I imagine, for instance, let's say that Peter Lang, he is the designer CPA. Let's say that me and Peter are up on stage with, let's say, Corey Damon Jenkins. Okay, because Corey Damon Jenkins, by the way, is going to be at the event. So let's say that these are the pair. And we start to talk, and I start to ask Peter, well, what do you have to do to really have your systems for your accounting in place? And what type of meeting should you be scheduling with your bookkeeper? And what type of meeting should be scheduling with your CPA? And how often should they happen? And what kinds of things do we actually want to cover? Okay, we're going to pull that apart. And then I'm going to look at somebody like Corey Damon Jenkins, and I'm going to say, you're a pretty busy guy, Corey Damon, right? You've got projects in Michigan and New York City and all over. You've got a pretty good sized staff. What is it that you as the principal do? What do you take these meetings? Do you charge them out to somebody else? Do you oversee them? How do you actually, as a busy, productive principal who has a lot of responsibility on your plate with speaking engagements, with product launches, with all of these things, how do you actually manage the business end of your business? You see, because it's one thing for an expert to tell us what we should do. It's another thing to find out how successful people actually do it. Right? And that's that magic right there. That's that secret sauce. That's that amazing little extraness that I really feel is going to be taking place at LuAnn Nigara Live. It's about the conversation, because that's exactly what it is. It's about the conversation. Teach me something, but I want to know how I actually do it. And I need some conversation with you to get to the bottom of that. Okay. So this is what we're going to do 12 times, 6 on Saturday, 6 on Sunday. I mean, it's going to be insane. I might be a little tired. I don't know. But mostly I'm sure I'm just going to be so jazzed up. It's not going to matter. And then, of course, as I've said before, and I've said to you on IG stories and live and everything else, we're going to have breakfast together. We're going to have lunch together. We're going to have dinner together. We're going to have snacks together. We're going to have wine together. We're going to have cookies together. We're going to do it all. We're going to be together the whole time. You see, there's no like, okay, it's over at 3, everybody, do whatever you want, go to dinner, separate. No. See, we're all together. I want to be with you. I want my speakers with you. I want it so that if you listen to a speaker say something on stage and you had a question, but you knew, you can't, there's some questions you can't raise your hand in front of 200 people and ask. You just can't. It's icky. I know it. Okay. But you want the chance to ask them. Guess what? All of these speakers and designer panelists are going to be with us for the entire weekend. So you are going to be able to stand next to them at breakfast or sit next to them at lunch. Or this is not like, hey, this group's going here, this group's going here. It's like, we're together. Okay. So it's really going to be remarkable. And I'm so proud of what we've put together as a book, what these amazing experts and co-authors have done. Their superpowers. I'm in awe of them and I love them. And, this is why they've been on the show. Many of them have been on the show multiple times. And of course, now they're going to be right there for you in this book and at this live event. The book is going to be each chapter a standalone chapter on their superpower, something that when you are in your studio and you're working and you're saying to yourself, I'm really not doing so great on Instagram. I wonder if I'm missing a step. I'm wondering if I'm missing, something, and I just need an idea. You can go and pull this book off the shelf and reread Mark McDonough's chapter on Instagram and go, oh, right, I forgot about that. Okay, that's what this book is about. Okay, so I really hope that you are on the list, number one, so that you know it's there. I really hope that you will go over to social media today and look at it and let us know what you think of the cover. And I hope that I will see you at the party tonight, all right? So in the meantime, I thought that I would just say that I felt like, when we did this book, it's the things I learned from a well-designed business. These are 12 topics that we've covered on this podcast. And there's some that are more... there's none that are more important than the other, but there's some that are more foundational, okay? And I just wanted to just touch on those a little bit for this episode. Just a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of, you got to do this stuff, okay? So the one thing is that you have to know your numbers. And I want to give a shout out to Sarah Lynn Brennan right now. Sarah is only in business at the time of this recording a year and about 5 months. And do you know that about 6 months ago, first of all, she came to the Power Talk Friday tour in High Point Market. And she said, this is my number one goal this year is to really understand my numbers, to really get a handle on what are the darn numbers that you need to know. How do I look at them? How do I use them as a tool to project income and to operate my business? And she just said, that's it. Line in the sand. This is the year I'm doing this. And I have to tell you, I'm so happy and so proud of her, what she has done. We all know it's not easy. We all know, unless your brain clicks that way, and I don't know, I don't think I've met 2 interior designers out of 400 that said, yeah, my brain clicks like numbers. I mean, they are there. There have been a few. But they almost always come from a finance background. I'm thinking of Sandra Funk of House of Funk, right? Comes from finance and then goes and, creates her interior design firm. There's been a couple of you like that. But literally 98% are like, oh, sweet Jesus, I hate the numbers. And so it does take that level of that's it, line in the sand. I am going to get this down. And I give Sarah Lynn tremendous credit for not skating year after year after year and just, having the money come in the firm and go out of the firm and in the firm and out of the firm and then waking up in 5 or 6 or 7 and 10 years and saying, I'm really not sure what I'm doing here with the number part. Seems to be a lot of money in the bank account, but I don't have the confidence of where it is, what it is, and how it works. So you can do that same thing. I don't care if you're in business 1 year or 20. If you don't really know this, you need to, and you can. And the thing is that it does take working with people who understand, A, you're the boss, Okay, so your bookkeeper needs to know it's your business. So I say it like that because I actually have had conversations with designers that have bookkeepers that kind of keep them in the dark on what's going on. They're like, oh, no, you don't have to worry about that. I've got it. Don't worry about it. I've got it. And they have this level of trust in their bookkeeper. And that's great. You need to have trust, but it cannot be blind trust like that. It cannot. I have met so many business owners, not just through the podcast, but in the course of being in business that have been stolen from, ripped off, all kinds of things. And it always comes from being a business owner with your head in the sand when it comes to your numbers. I use this example a lot because this designer was willing to share it on the podcast. And, I'm going to actually mention this designer by name because she shared this on the podcast. So sometimes I find out about these things in coaching sessions. So that's not my information to share. But Andrea Schumacher, episode 279, she told us on the podcast how 1 year in her business, she came to tax time only to find out that she owed something like $50,000 in taxes that her bookkeeper and her accountant, didn't keep her apprised of, didn't have her planning for, or whatever. And she said, it was almost the end of her business. Okay. So these things happen when you just trust. Okay. So you must know your numbers. You don't have to be the one that does it, but we just had Courtney McLeod on the episode just last week, episode 398. And she said how she has a meeting with her bookkeeper. I don't recall if it was every week, every 2 weeks, whatever it is, that just goes over everything. So the thing about it is that if you have a bookkeeper and you don't understand what they're doing, remember you are that bookkeeper's employer, whether they are a subcontractor consultant or they're actually working for you. And if you want them to explain what they're doing, yes, they have to do that. You have to insist on it. And you can say to them, look, it might take me 5 or 6 sessions, 1 hour a week to understand this. And then you can go back to doing your job without me and we'll just have 1 hour meetings a week to go over it. But, until I have a complete and clear understanding of what's happening, you're going to go through it with me. Okay. And if you can't get it from that, then you must hire a coach or, switch bookkeepers or switch accountants. You must. No ostriches in our group here. Okay. Nobody in a well-designed business community has their head in their sand with their numbers. That's it. Okay. Promise me that this is the year that you make that commitment to yourself if you don't already have this locked down. Here's the other thing I need you to promise me. The second thing is you must know your value. Okay. If you give your services away, you cannot blame that on that consumer. Okay. I see a lot in the Facebook groups, in the coaching, where designers are complaining that consumers do not understand their value. Okay? So that might be true, but it doesn't have to be true for you and your clients and the people you do business with. It can be true as a, I was going to say as a race, like interior designers are a race. You know what I'm saying? It could be true in general as a stereotype, but it does not need to be true for you. Okay. You're in charge of how your business runs. It starts with you knowing your value and you drawing the line in the sand where it comes to how you charge for that and what you will what services you do for those fees. So you know what I always say, know what you will do and know what you will not do. So if you will do a consultation for $325 an hour and it will not include travel and expenses, then that's that. That's it. That's when somebody says, what is your consultation? It's $325 for 1 hour plus travel and expenses. Oh, really? I don't want to pay your expenses. Okay. Then don't hire me. Okay, I'm being a little flip, but it's not really. I mean, it's not. You have to know what you will do and what you won't do. You know what I always say, there's the inside voice and the outside voice. So the inside voice sounds a lot like mine, and the outside voice sounds much nicer and much more professional. Okay, but they both get to the same place. Whatever you decide that you will do, attach your price to it, attach your value to it, and that's that. And I promise you, once you do it once and it works, then you'll do it twice and it will work again, and you will do it a third time and it will work again, because that's how it is. It's your business. Okay? So I have to say, a lot of times you guys think, maybe you think that, well, I don't know, she's not an interior designer, she doesn't know what it's like. No. See, I do know what it's like, because I just about 3 months ago had the exact same experience with a window treatment sale. So it was a particular couple. Second time doing business with them, and in fact did business with the parents of one of them. So, there's some relationship here. This is not strangers. And we did work at the one home, and now they've gone to a new home, and very big home, probably about 15 or 16,000 square feet, several $1 million. And we need to do a quick layer of shades and treatments so that they can move into all the bedrooms and get sleeping. Now it's a couple of months later, and it's like, okay, we're starting to figure out, get our feet wet. What are we going to do next layer? We'll pick a couple more rooms to get done. And the quote for these next couple of rooms comes to $7,300. And I send it over to them, and I legit get this email back. Hey, this looks great. We really want to do these things. How about, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $4,000 and we'll get the order started today. And I'm thinking, well, okay, does he mean deposit? And so I said in the email back, yeah, for a deposit, that'll work. No, comes back. $4,000 total. I really have a lot of expenses right now, and that's all I can spend. And so, there's a lot more work to do here, LuAnn, so I would love for you to work with me on this. We've given you a lot of work in the past, and you can see we've got tens of thousands of dollars worth of work coming. So I really need you to work with me on this. No, I'm so sorry. No, you don't set the prices for my company, and especially ridiculous ones like that. I have to say, price was $73,000. If he had said $7,000, I probably would have said, you know what? Okay, fine, right? I wouldn't have done it the first time. I know I wouldn't have, just on principle and just to maintain my leverage. However, I would have. But when you go all the way to there, you see, I really, really want to do business with you. I really want to keep that relationship, and I really want to do the tens of thousands of dollars that are legitimately ahead for this couple in this new house. But you see, first of all, not interested in doing it at practically cost. And second of all, you are not running this ship. You are not dictating to me the pricing for my products. And so we ultimately did agree at exactly the number that I had in my mind, which was $7,000. And it was 4 or 5 emails, and each time he came up a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And I just kept saying, I'm happy to do it for this number. That's it. And each time, I have to say, this was a nuanced negotiation. There's no question. This is not like, hey, I wrote 4 emails and it was easy. Each email probably took me 30, 35, 40 minutes to craft, because I was consistently, in the most nuanced way, continuing to point out the value of WindowWorks and the difference of working with WindowWorks and the things that we had done in the past, but also continuing to point out that if this was not his budget, if $7,300 was not his budget, I would be happy to find something for him in his budget, or he could wait till he could afford it. You see, it's not my job to make his, window treatments fit in this, unicorn imaginary budget of his. It's just not my job. And after 4 or 5 emails, he legitimately knew that I was perfectly fine with not doing not only that order, but the rest of the house. And I said to him, it will be very sad for me if I lose you as a client, but you know what WindowWorks is. You know how we are different. We are not a blind company. We are a full service window treatment and awning retailer that has your best interest at heart every single time we interact with you, we walk into your house, and we do work for you. And I said, and I hope that has value. And if it doesn't, and you just simply are interested in the lowest price, then you'll need to go and find someone to work with that their number one priority is the same as yours, low price. Okay? So I want you to take this message and understand that all of this stuff that's happening in the world now, these mergers, these acquisitions, you heard recently that Cherish acquired Daring Hall. And I have to say, I am thrilled for Anna Brockway. She's been on this show. She was a sponsor of this show. Smart, brilliant lady. Oh my goodness. Together, her and her husband have created something and have exploded their business in a way that is amazing and fabulous for them. Do not make the mistake of saying, oh, see, this ruins it for me. No, because business and industries always change. They always morph. What you have to do is figure out your value in the middle of it. And so, yes, yesterday, people could buy furniture online at the Wayfair level of price point. And now today, they'll probably be able to buy it online at the very high-end level. But who tells them what looks beautiful? Who tells them what is the right proportion? Who tells them how to coordinate those pieces? That's not online. That's you. Okay? That's you. You need to reinvent if you haven't already. You need to get your brand together. You need to get your message together. You need to be able to, when somebody wants to do what somebody did to me, want to cut my value in half, you need to be able to say, these are the things that you get when you work with me. And when I said it, none of it was blinds. None of it was shades, because you know what? That blinds, those shades that he was getting a price on, that's a commodity. That product is exactly the same anywhere he goes. Right? Think about that. Now, I don't think he would have gotten a price for half anywhere else, but I know he could have gotten a price less. I'm not the least expensive. I can't do what I do. I cannot bring the value and the service that we bring for the least expensive price. I'm not interested in it. I don't want you to be either. You don't want the least expensive consumer. You don't want the consumer who doesn't appreciate you. Don't worry about all of the people who are going to buy their stuff online. You worry about how you express to them what you do that they cannot buy online. Okay? That's how you're going to survive. So you need to know your worth and your brand. That rolls right into knowing your brand and establishing that value and that expression of what it is that you do. When somebody asks me, it's in my first book. Remember, in my first book, if you haven't read it, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, grab it on Amazon. There is a point in there where I say that this woman point blank says to me, yeah, you have a really great reputation, but I've also heard that you're expensive. Okay? So I'll leave you to go read that in the book because I've already taken enough time on this. But I promise you, that's a great thing to hear. Okay? As long as you know why you're expensive or you are more valuable than somebody else. I know why I am. I know why my team is. They're amazing. That's why. And we do everything we can to make that experience exactly that. You're not buying a commodity from me. You are not buying a blind from me. You are not buying a shade from me. You're not buying an awning from me. Okay? So don't let you think that consumers are buying a rug, a sofa, a lamp, an accessory from you. They are buying you. What are you? Who are you? How do you do it? Why do you do it? How do you do it differently? When you have that clear in your mind, then you can clearly charge your services, charge your worth for your services. Okay? So And systems. These are my 3 or 4 things that I really think are the foundation. Of course, the book has all 12, but it's systems. And I mean, sweet Jesus, if you haven't understood by now how important systems are, maybe you're new to the podcast and you don't know. But listen to, I don't know, 2 more episodes and you'll know that it is absolutely critical that you figure out your systems, because it's in your systems that you really start to get your confidence and you can stand up to the environment, into the culture that wants to sell a commodity. Okay, it's your systems that set you free. It's your systems that set your business on fire. We've had Rachel Cannon, episode number 306, tell us her business took off once she got it systemized. Rachel Cannon is going to be, by the way, at LuAnn Nigara Live. It's about the conversation. So please go back and listen to that episode. You'll hear her say it was like a lightning bolt moment. Okay, so I'm not going to beat you over the head. I'm just going to tell you, that you need to get your system squared away. And I also know, just like your finances, it's hard. Believe me, WindowWorks is so systemized. I've said to you before, the systems have systems, but the podcast, I'm still building my systems here with the podcast. It's 3 years later. I'm still building them. I'm still changing them. I'm still revising them. It's a bear. It's an always thing to do. It's not a sometimes thing to do. And I know from the coaching I do and the masterminds that it is a struggle. But there's 2 things. Don't pretend to yourself because you know that you need to do it and then it's hard to do, so you don't really do it, that you sort of are doing it and it's hard, so it's sort of maybe getting done. You're either doing it or you're not. It's as simple as that. You're either sitting down, putting it in your calendar, and making an appointment with yourself to put your system for intaking a new client into a Word document, whatever way you want to do it. You're either doing it or you're not. There's no trying. There's no, I tried, but I did. No, it's not easy. None of this is easy, by the way. If it were easy, people wouldn't go out of business every day of the week in this country, in this world. If it were easy, every single person that had a vision, had a dream, had a goal for a business would just be in business, right? It's not easy. None of it's easy. But together we try and do it. Together we try and help each other. Together we try and inspire each other. Together we try and do something, say something that lifts another person up. Okay, I know that's what happens for me when I talk to you, either because you've been on the show, you're a guest on the show, or I see you at a live event. So often do I get an amazing idea from a conversation with one of you guys, and I just love it. I've said to you before, too, I've taken many of the ideas that guests have shared with me on the podcast back to WindowWorks. Chad James, his Monday morning meetings. Yes. I mean, we were in business 33 years, 32 years, I think it was, before we did this. And the thing is, if you remember, I remember thinking, oh, it would be really good to have Monday morning meetings, but we're too busy. We're too big. It's too cumbersome. I can't take all the installers out of a schedule for 3 hours every Monday. That's insanity. We're jammed up as it is. But when I was talking to Chad James on the show, and he said how it's a non-negotiable for him that whether he's in town, out of town, whatever his schedule is, he's there for Monday morning meetings. And if you remember, he also has, maybe they're Tuesday morning for him, but he also has in the afternoon individual meetings every week with his team members just to see how they're doing. How are you? What's going on? And the things that he learns as a principal are so valuable to him, and in helping him be a better principal and helping him be a better designer, a better business person for his clients, which all ultimately wraps back around and helps him to be more profitable. So when I realized that Chad James could be designing product, doing speeches all over the country, clients all over the country, and he could manage to have a weekly team meeting, I thought, we probably could too. And it has been life-changing for WindowWorks. The number of mistakes that we have caught, the ways that we teach each other, salespeople learning from installers understanding what we're up against as salespeople, Adriana, our administrator, understanding the challenges that each of us faces as salespeople and as installers. It's really been amazing. I think it's almost it'll be 3 years in September of 2019 that we started doing it. And it really, so I love the new ideas that we get from our guests. And the thing about the ideas is you got to do them. Right? You got to do them. They can't stay in a notebook. You can't say, well, it didn't work for me, or, oh, it's too hard. I didn't do it. It is hard. So if you're waiting for it to not be hard, I'm sorry. If you're waiting for time to do it, yeah, I'm sorry about that too. You're never gonna have, oh yeah, now I've like tons of time. Let me write my employee manual. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Okay. But you can make a decision to just do it and put the time aside. And that's what I want you to do. Okay. So in honor of the 400th episode and the 3-year birthday of this podcast, I'd love for you to figure out what your decision is. Okay. What is the thing that you're going to do? All right. Maybe you're going to join us at LuAnn Nigara Live. It's about the conversation, and you're going to come in person and get your world rocked. Maybe that's what you're going to do. I hope it is. Okay. Maybe you're going to read the first book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, and get your business basics down. Or maybe you're going to get this second book, The Things I Learned from a Well-Designed Business, the Power Talk Friday Experts. And if you want to know when that book is ready for order, go to LuAnnNigara.com/book 2, the number 2, LuAnnNigara.com/book 2, and you will be notified as soon as it's available. Okay. So I really, really hope that you are following me on Instagram at LuAnn Nigara, Facebook at A Well-Designed Business. And if you are, please tell me your thoughts on the book cover. I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight at Cravat Inc., hopefully. Make sure you introduce yourself to me. And before we go, I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of the people that make this podcast possible. Okay. First of all, we have the amazing editors, Room 2 Productions, Billy and Gretchen, my aunt Gretchen, my Uncle Bill. You know how much I love and value these people and how hard they work for me and for you, making this podcast sound good and be put together and edited and all those great things. So thank you, thank you, thank you. To Team Podcast, Christy Hausler. She does the show notes and she gets the show from a Dropbox to you. I don't know how she does it. I have no idea. It's probably not that complicated, but I don't know how it gets done. And Christy does it every single week on time. And sometimes, oh my goodness, do I have her back against the wall. So thank you, Christy. And then also, I mentioned earlier, Nicole Heimer of Curio Electro, who created my website, both the LuAnn Nigara website and the WindowWorks website, who does all of the branding and the templates for us and everything that puts our message in front of you. And then to my daughter, Christy Rocha, who is the one who really makes it all happen back there, all that connecting me to Christy Hausler, me to Nicole Heimer, me to you, the potential guest, me to you, the listeners. So she makes all of those things come together. Thank you, Christy. And then also we have my WindowWorks team, my husband, Vin, and our cousin Bill, who it's their inspiration, their lessons, their partnership over all these years that help and make this possible. And also to Kimberly, especially my entire WindowWorks team, especially to Kimberly, though, who so much of my responsibility from WindowWorks has gone to her. She is now the go-to person for all the designer liaison for window treatments and everything that happens there. And she has just stepped into that role, and she is just amazing. So thank you, Kim. And then finally, I really want to thank my sponsors, Cravat Inc. and My Doma Studio, our two main featured sponsors. These individual sponsors, both of them, know how important it is for you to be profitable and to run your business well. And they are committed to bringing this podcast to you so that can happen. So make sure that you visit them both and patronize them, and you let them know through social media and when you meet them in person that you thank them for helping me do this. And then this year we've had article.com, and they'll be continuing with us. And again, don't forget to give them a shout out when you see that book cover. And of course, We had Camp Chroma the first half of the year, campchroma.com. It's your online resource for understanding the science of color. We had Revel Woods as a sponsor this year. We had Bijou Wall Coverings. These companies both sponsored Power Talk Friday events. Designer Inc. also sponsored Power Talk Friday events. And we had the IWCE, the International Window Covering Expo, sponsor Power Talk Friday events. And I'll be at the IWCE in March. So I hope that you're going to be there too with us. And then I'm going to be letting you know that we have a new sponsor coming, Exciting Windows. And I'll be giving you some information about that. So if you're a window treatment specialist, if that's where you specialize, or as an interior designer, you want to learn more about window treatments, Exciting Windows is an organization and a company that is set up to do exactly that. And I'll be giving you more information about Exciting Windows over the coming weeks. Okay. So also the guests, 400 episodes. How many guests have come and shared their time with us, their expertise with us, their knowledge, their mistakes, their challenges, their wins, right? The things that they've done well, the things that they've struggled with, the lessons they've learned. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're one of those many interior designers and experts that have come here and helped us, we appreciate it and value it. I definitely do. And then finally, it's to you, the listener that comes every single week and listens to this show, there's been almost 400 of you that have left a review on iTunes. So if you are one of those people, thank you, thank you, thank you too. And how about there's been over 30 reviews on Amazon for the book? If you're one of those people, thank you, thank you, thank you. But just showing up and listening is amazing. And I value it. I appreciate it. And I love when you share with me on Instagram and Facebook your reactions, your observations, your aha moments that a guest has shared on the show. So thank you for taking your time to listen, and thank you for taking the time to interact with me and let me know that and how the show is helping you. Okay. I mean, thank you just isn't a big enough word. I'm just going to say right now, it just isn't. It just feels just so tiny compared to the expression that I want to share with you. But I will just say to you, this is just a wild ride, and I'm loving every minute of it. I love meeting you in person. I love the events that we do. I love the interaction, and I just, I'm looking forward to more of it. And you know why? Because it's in my business plan and it's on my vision board. So you're just going to have to keep coming along with me because I'm not done yet. We got more to do. All right. So what's your decision today? What are you going to decide to do today? So take one thing, okay? Decide one little tiny thing that you can do that A, will make your business a little bit better than it was the day before, and B, will make you feel better about your business than you did the day before. Because these two things together, it's that having that plan and that confidence. And when you turn it into action, that's when the magic happens, okay? So make a plan, have the confidence to do it, and then decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be, all of that is found at LuAnn Nigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.